When I was a teenager, I used to tell puns. And my friend Eric would go, "Preacher joke." And I asked him why. He replied, "Well, preachers can't tell a good dirty joke or an ethnic joke, so all they have left is puns." Now, Eric came from a tradition where they called the preacher father, so in a sense, preacher jokes are dad jokes. Puns, cliches, and wordplay. They are funny precisely because they're not really funny. The familiarity breeds not contempt, but contentment. A warm feeling that communication has been attempted. Teasing of the hair in your ear. A jovial joke by Jove. Jove is the Latin name for the Roman god Jupiter, father of all gods. This Father's Day, I present to you dad jokes. These almost funny attempts to make a connection while not offending another. See, my dad was a grocer, and he would use these jokes as patter to schmooze the customers. He would look at a dollar bill and read, "In God we trust, all others pay cash." And then the standard ones, "Is it hot enough for you?" Or "I would forget my head if it weren't attached," or "You gotta laugh or else you'd cry." And my father in our store sold magazines, and some that were geared towards the prurient interest of some men. And if a customer lingered too long making their selection, my dad would ask, "What color are her eyes?" He taught me that the customer is always right, even the guy that returned the blue cheese because it was moldy. One time a customer complained that mustard was 5 cents cheaper at another store, and my dad asked, "Well, why aren't you at that store?" And he said, "Well, they're closed." He goes, "Our mustard is 5 cents cheaper when we're closed too." But my father was best when kids would try to prank call the store. For those of you too young to remember, Prince Albert was a brand of tobacco, pipe tobacco, and it was sold in a pouch or a can. And the caller would call the store and ask, "Do you have Prince Albert in a can?" And then if the storekeeper said yes, they would say, "Let him out," and hang up. But my dad would never say yes. He would say something like, "No, we let him out last week and he got drunk and the police are holding him in the can. You'll have to talk to them." He gave all my siblings nicknames. Mickey was Chicky and Susie was Boozy. Robert, his namesake, was Robbo. I lucked out. Instead of calling me Daniel, my first name, he called me Charlie by my middle name. I'm the only one of the siblings that has kept the nickname into adulthood. And on the general subject of naming, my mother forbid him to name any of the children after he suggested that my eldest sister be named Avis Mavis Davis. My dad had a sense of humor, kind of much like Dean Martin, always had that twinkle in his eye. And I remember once when he very earnestly told me "I'm going to need this ice cube later, so put it in your pocket and save it for me." And I was so disappointed that I failed him. See, but dads are at a disadvantage to parenting. Because mom is a source of food, so the kid nestles in and is instantly bonded. Dads are on the outside looking in. They have to clown for attention. Hey, look at me, a peekaboo, or the favorite joke of most children. Dad jokes are all we have. Funny faces and pantomime work for a while, and then the kid learns to talk. And asks why. But why? Why? And fathers discover that they often don't know why, but the hopeful eyes of a child demand an answer. So dads are reduced to cliches, things that sound right, but actually make very little sense, like, love makes the world go round, the sky is blue because I love you, a rolling stone gathers no moss, it's 6 of one or half dozen of another, the grass is greener on the other side, if you make that face too long, it'll stay that way. We're not laughing at you, we're laughing with you. Time flies when you're having fun, and then when all else fails, because I said so. Benjamin Franklin was a founding father of this nation. He was a father of 2 children and had adopted an illegitimate child. And he was rumored to have more because he spent many years of his 44-year marriage overseas. As a largely absentee father, he wrote Poor Richard's Almanac, a collection of pithy sayings that many still rely on, such as, people who are wrapped up in themselves make small packages. He that falls in love with himself will have no rivals. If you would be loved, be lovable. A penny saved is a penny earned. Early to bed and early to rise make a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. In this world, nothing is certain but death and taxes. Haste makes waste, and he that lies down with dogs shall rise up with fleas. But these cliches often contradict one another, because a penny saved is a penny earned is contradicted by you need to spend money to make money. Haste makes waste is contradicted by a stitch in time saves 9. Look before you leap is contradicted by he who hesitates is lost, which is contradicted by good things come to those who wait. Absence may make the heart grow fonder, but when the cat's away, the mice will play. These contradictions continue to dog us. Although one who lies down with dogs may raise up with fleas, we must remember that every dog has its day. And it may have a bone to pick with you. I mean, should we dig up these contradictions or should we let the sleeping dogs lie? If we are wrong, we might end up in the doghouse with man's best friend. It seems unfair that diamonds are a girl's best friends. Splitting the difference, the androgynous David Bowie sang about diamond dogs. Viva la difference. Some women say that all men are dogs, and some men respond by calling women female dogs, but they do not mean their best friend. If men are from Mars and women are from Venus, then this world is going to the dogs. It's a dog-eat-dog world, like a wiener dog eating a Vienna sausage. A hot dog is a show-off trying to be top dog. Others sit and beg or run with their tail between their legs, with diamonds on the soles of their shoes. When one is dog-tired of wordplay, one may sit and stay still. Then someone will ask, does the cat got your tongue? Are you catatonic? Why are you perfectly still? Maybe still waters run deep. Perhaps it's best not to spill the beans. If we are frank, people will say we are too full of beans. In fact, we'll be frank and beans. Dad jokes are crummy, but they do contain crumbs of wisdom. They may be food for thought, or they may be for the birds. Eagle-eyed insight or bird-brained. They may be flighty or soaring. Yet a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. If the early bird gets the worm, I think I'd rather be late. Dad jokes can be about anything from soup to nuts. Sometimes they help us get a handle on things, but other times they go over like a lead balloon. If not, they might go over your head or stay in the back of your mind. A storehouse of knowledge, but who's minding the store? Do not go overboard sailing this river of thought. Do not go fishing for compliments. Remember, as you cast your bread upon the waters, people seldom accept puns, hook, line, and sinker. Sometimes you just have to fish or cut bait. So throw someone a line, especially if they are up the creek without a paddle, or if they're going down for the third time. But they might reel you in, and you'll find that you are all wet. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. This comes straight from the horse's dry mouth. You shouldn't change horses in the middle of a stream. And maybe Dad should stop horsing around and hold their horses. They may have to get off their high horse and listen. Instead of relying on horse sense or faking wisdom or humor, they must realize that they're just beating a dead horse. And they should admit to their child that they do not know all the answers. This may be the first step in building a stable relationship. Yet sometimes you need to think on your feet. A humorous answer might keep you in a running, but the race does not always go to the swift. And you can't predict these things. You can't depend on the gallop pole. A dark horse might win. Nice guys finish last, so maybe the best is saved for last. And you'll get your just desserts. Patience is a virtue, but then again, life is short, so eat dessert first. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you die. But why put off to tomorrow what you could do today? Ooh, who knows how the die is cast? That line of thinking took a turn for the worst. Does one bad turn deserve another? Now, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 rights make a left. Wordplay is a form of wisdom. Puns and old jokes are part of our heritage. All of you have heard these many times before. They should not be funny. There should be no laughter in this room. Generations have regenerated jokes until they become the common currency of our current commentary. By twisting the language, we discover that things are not always as they seem. When the world is coming apart at the seams, we can laugh until we're in stitches, mending the fabric of society and weaving the web of the world. Each pun punishes definitions until new meanings are revealed. Witty retorts of tortured language languish like a tortoise, ambling with ample examples of paternal affection, effecting a reaction that's less than laughter. Stale jokes are the pungent patter from the potter, resulting in a meaningful moan. A groaning child is a growing child who realizes that the point of the joke is not humor. They humor Dad as he attempts to make a connection. Dad jokes evolve from laughter to affection. The worst jokes beget better effectiveness. As a parent and child observe the absurdity of life together, they realize that being present with a child is the best present a person can give. The deepest things are beyond words. An atmosphere of caring is more eloquent than words. And in our life, when trouble comes, and grief and pain, words often fail. I mean, the cliches of caring fall flatter than tired jokes. The rain falls on both the good and evil. Letting a smile be your umbrella really only results in having wet teeth. Saying don't worry, be happy seldom cures depression. And has shouting calm down ever calmed someone down? I'm sorry for your loss is generic and safe. And because of its genericness and its safeness, just has no chance of ever getting to the depths of grief. One could say there's light at the end of the tunnel, but then again, that could be a train. Sending thoughts and prayers has become so trite that there are now internet memes where you can send someone a pic of tater tots and pears. Sending you tots and pears. The prayer, I know, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. The prayers often prey on the grieving like predators, claiming that when God closes a door, he opens a window, as if crawling through a window is something to be desired. Saying God never gives one more than they can handle is simply a lie. It ignores post-traumatic syndrome of survivors, and it trivializes the lives of those who have suffered and died. So many atrocities have been committed by people who believed God is on our side. Saying the devil made me do it is a way of avoiding personal responsibility, as does the phrase, well, I'm giving it over to God. We have the capability of giving life meaning, but that hard work cannot be reduced to sound bites. Instead of waiting for God or pie in the sky by and by, we need to be present with each other to create a safe space where it's okay to be silly or to cry or even to say nothing at all. Wordplay is important, but it is merely an attempt to get hidden meanings that are beyond words. But our thoughts and feelings are larger than any cliche. So I guess I'll call it a day. In conclusion, words are an occlusion, clouds with delusions of understandings, clouds with profusions of silver linings, slivers of light shining in the midst of the mist of our minds. This sermon, like all things, must pass, and I shall go no farther in the fathoming of fathers. It's not over till it's over.
And the fat lady sings?
I will not say that. It is not over till it's over. And even then, every end is a new beginning. May we bless and be blessed.
How do you follow that? Goodbye. Thank you, I think. You never fail to leave us with food for thought, especially when it's shared with humor and love. For today's benediction, the words are from Reverend Joseph Cleveland. May we hear the melody of life and find ourselves singing harmony. May we be open to the dissonance in the song of the land and its people, that we might be a part of the world's urging towards justice, peace, and love. May we feel in our bones the rhythms of life in the land and find ourselves dancing. For those of you tuning in from home, we'd like to thank you for streaming with us. We're very appreciative that you're tuned in and sharing this time with us. We hope that you will continue to tune in, as your presence is very important to us. Happy Father's Day. This concludes the live stream portion of today's service. Please remember that the reason we move joys and sorrows to this part of the service